Okay, so I was saying that when we say that bad things happen to good people, is it as a repercussion of their good actions, or is it merely because of the fact that they are good people and they can't recognize people doing bad things to them? That is also something that should be considered.
Yeah, I actually think that's a very valid and a very good point.
I feel that would come under the naive category if your intentions are good, but if you keep on getting fooled because of your actions, then that's not necessarily the good part of your actions, but the naive part and childish part of your behavior.
But I think it can be argued you need to be a little naive to be good. Otherwise, it's very difficult to believe in good and continue doing good things.
Especially in today's day and age where everyone is uh, so there was a time where people actually believed a lot in selflessness, but today with the amount of competition and the inflation and the need for economic growth, you have to be selfish on some grounds or the other. So being for you to be actually be able to be good in all senses would need for you to be a little naive and actually leave things out of your sight, because otherwise you'll be skeptical of everything going on around you.
Uh, yeah, that's true. And also, when we say this, I feel like we are restricting the time, right? Like, if I do something good today and a week later something bad happens to me, and my reaction is, oh, but I was so good, probably there are better things in store which haven't come to us yet. That could also be one of the reasons. Like, it's not and there is no deadline, right? Like, oh, today a bad thing happened to me, that means no good thing can happen to me ever despite my actions, because most people generally do tend to believe in karma, and they think if they do good things will return to them. But maybe it's the time aspect of it.
I
Yeah,
feel
that's very
it
similar to
should.
the
Oh, yeah,
burnt toast
listen, Taylor.
theory.
I feel it's not a co-dependent path on both sides. Where someone does good deeds, they should be rewarded with good deeds, or not necessarily even bad deeds. It's just the fate of life, which happens that way, where you keep on doing your work with your right intentions and right actions, and the deeds which come back to you are totally independent of this clause. It's what you have in store for you. You not life. Life is not sunshine for everyone. You are gonna face bad days, but that does not necessarily mean you should stop being a good person, or or just have think of it in that way that I did good stuff, still I felt bad if I face these bad consequences. I feel you should just wait for the sun to shine again, and it definitely will.
I mean, that is still a debatable topic. I mean, for example, if there's someone who is completely impoverished, and if he's getting a way out of his poverty, to maybe a more successful role, but that requires him to not stay a good person, to be a bad person. Should he not then take that job up? For example, if he's a person who's living on the streets and he gets offered a job at a tobacco company, should he not take that job and improve his conditions, even though promoting tobacco and working for tobacco is ideally not good?
Yeah, I think it's about making choices, but I think like also I think we are being a little very specific about doing particular good things, but the topic as a broad, maybe we can classify it as like good people in general. Like more often than not, they make the morally sound choice and don't try to harm others. Maybe not every choice they make will always be correct, because of course there are restrictions, there are situations, like you gave an example. In that example, probably any person would not have a choice if they want to continue to live, so or feed their family or things like that. So yes, sometimes people might make questionable choices, but I think we should consider on the whole, do they do things like, I think intent matters in these things.
But is the vice versa of the statement true? Would you all agree that good things happen to bad people?
Sometimes yes, but it usually is short lived. I mean, for example, Again, this is a very big generalization, but someone who has taken up a lot of money from a lot of people, and probably done like the 1992 scam, for example, the person got very rich, right? Was good things happened to him. He was very happy, but that is short lived. Ultimately, think karma does catch up, and legally he did got caught. So that is one aspect you look.
Also, I guess it depends on your own conscious. Like some people can do the most absurd things and still be able to go to sleep at night without a worry on their head, and some people feel bad for even telling white lies. So it ends up like surrounding being surrounded by the thing of if I think good deed matters or not. A person who's consciously thinking about doing good deeds probably is the one who will get hyper fixated on the fact that, oh, bad is happening to me despite doing good. Perhaps someone who is naturally good wouldn't think that he's doing it out of some sort of compulsion or to get something. Like good people just are generally good.
But I agree with your point. Good people sometimes do tend to worry a lot more, which brings problems into their lives, which bad people probably don't have to face so much because their conscience is not hammering them all the time.
Exactly.
Ayushi, please summarize.
The topic was bad things happen to good people. First, we started by saying we need to clarify what exactly does good or bad mean. We came to the conclusion that it's very subjective and it's not really red and white, black and white. Then there was a discussion about a show and how it constituted of similar points. Then we also talked about Ukraine-Russia war, how it started, how it ended up being, how an action does not necessarily start out from a bad thought but might lead to that. Then we talked about how there are different how this has been a topic in different subjects such as philosophy and ethics over the years. Then we also talked about how being then we had a discussion on being naive and childish, uh, uh, someone said that thinking that doing good thing and continuously doing ending in a bad action is naive, and then someone said that being naive is also kind of important to be good. Then we had a
Anything
discussion.
to,
Sorry.
it was a decent summary. Anything to add, Ronak, to the summary? Did you miss out anything?
No, sir, I think all the main points were covered.
Yeah, I think overall the discussion was also decent. Except Gurkirat talking about good things happening to bad people would have sort of lengthened unnecessarily the discussion. So we could have avoided that probably. I don't think that was that relevant. I think we are seeing similar kind of participation as always. Snigdha and Ronak are speaking more. Gurkirat did speak a little, but Ayushi, you have to speak little more. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sorry.